My name is Dmitry Meshkov, and I'm going to introduce our joint work with Alexander Chepernoy on space-scarce economy in blockchain systems. Despite of a blockchain that is a full history of all the transactions, nodes in cryptocurrencies store state, current balances of participants. In Bitcoin, it's a set of unspent outputs. And this state is required to validate transactions efficiently. It's not just cash, it's required to validate transactions efficiently. And an unhealthy situation in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies that when transaction creates an output, miners commit that they will keep it forever. So they should keep this output to be able to validate transactions in the future. And this leads to continuously increasing state size, and especially during attacks like in Bitcoin in 2015 and like in Ethereum a year ago, where state size significantly increased, and it was unable to validate transactions sufficiently to put all this data in fast storage. Big state is a problem also for regular users because they can't put this big data structure to their low-end hardware like a mobile phone, and they can put it to their slow drive on their high-end hardware, but this will lead to long validation, and it's not user-friendly, and more users move to centralized services. So they go to web wallets and they trust to some third party that it's processed the blockchain, it have a correct state. It's very popular situations in all the blockchains. And Bitcoin, they use blockchain info. In Ethereum, users use my other wallet. But actually, these services are centralized. In our previous paper, we proposed a solution for this problem. For users, if we have an authenticated state, it's possible to provide a proof that transaction are correct, like the proof that an output is not spent yet in Bitcoin. So end users will need to keep just 32 bytes of a root hash of a state to know what state is it, and can process all the transactions, can validate everything without any trust. But miners should still keep this big state, and this is still a problem for them. And actually, they should validate transactions very efficiently, because while they validate transactions, their hardware stale, they lose their money, and they should keep this data structure in fast storage, like in memory. But this will lead to mining centralization, because just a few miners can have a very, very big memory on their hardware. Another option is not to keep state at all. It's so-called SPV mining, so miners can trust other miners that their blocks are correct and produce empty blocks without any transactions, that they will be correct. It's also not a healthy situation, and in this paper we propose a solution for this, but it is an economical solution, not a technical solution, to limit state size economically. So it's about fees, and first we should categorize different fees in blockchains. Transactions utilize different node resources. First cost is a network cost. It's a propagation of transaction through the network, and it's proportional to transaction size, and it's dominant in blockchains for money, like in Bitcoin. So in Bitcoin, you only pay a fee for transaction size. The second cost is a computation, and it's proportional to CPU utilization. And it's more important in blockchains for smart contracts, like in Ethereum, where you pay for number of computations your transaction perform. And the third cost is a storage cost that is proportional to state size changes, and it's more important for blockchain as databases. So total fee of transactions should be some function of these three parts. It's maybe just a sum of these three parts. And first parts are already discussed in literature, like a network fee. I'll mention here a work of Peter Rezun, a transaction fee market exists without a block size limit, where he mentioned that addition of a new transaction to a block leads to increased block reward, but also it leads to increased chance that your block will be overfound, so that somebody else will create a block while your block propagates through the network. So definitely there should be a maximum here. When you put no transactions, you receive no reward. When you create infinitely big block, you get no reward. So there should be maximum somewhere. Actually, it may be at 0 at empty blocks if fixed block reward is quite big, but it's out of this discussion. So network fee is more or less discussed in literature. Computation fee is less discussed, and it's important to prevent DDoS attack. It's important for blockchains with heavy validations, and actually I will mention here a work of Fololu, Demystifying Incentives in Consensus Computers, and co-authors, where they mentioned that actually miners should create as heavy blocks as possible, because other miners will validate their blocks, and during this time block generator will try to produce a new one. But actually this may change when other miners will be rational and will be able to estimate the required calculations. So they may decide to skip this very heavy block, not validate it, and create a fork. And this is kind of rational behavior for them, but it's also not so good discussed in literature. And in our paper, we discuss a storage fee. That is the fee to utilize state resources. As I already mentioned, it's not a healthy when you just pay for a transaction, when miners commit that they will keep your data in quite an expensive storage, fast storage forever. And we propose to pay a fee that is proportional to transaction state and its lifetime multiplication. So fee for your transaction will be equals to some price constants multiplied by output size and multiplied by number of block transaction will be stored in a state. For sure, some problem arises when you create a transaction, you don't know its lifetime, or you don't know when it will be spent. But actually, this problem can be solved somehow. And we proposed 3 different possibilities how to enforce this. First mode, as we say, it's like a prepaid output. Actually, when you create an output, you can prepaid for some lifetime. It's maximum lifetime for this output, and you pay during the time of creation. And it's like, deposit box renting. So you rent the deposit box in a bank for some time. When rent time is out, anyone can spend this transaction. This leads to quite easy output script. It's possible to implement it even in Bitcoin. So it's just a regular script. How can you spend this coin? Or after some height that is bigger than output creation height plus L max, maximum output lifetime, anyone should be able to spend this output. Second mode we discussed is a postpaid output. You are able to pay for resources you actually used when you spend output. So you, in postpaid mode, you pay when you spend an output. It can be enforced by miners, and actually there is also some max lifetime of the transaction when all its value will be consumed by a fee. Output script will be very similar to postpaid output, so it's a regular script, and after some height, anyone can spend this output. But this may lead to a very long time lifetime of transactions. So if output value is big, anyone will be able to spend it in a very, very far future. So we proposed third mode, scheduled payments. It's like decrease output value periodically. So after some duration, anyone can spend an output, but he should put money minus fee back to the same script. I showed it on the slides. It's not possible in Bitcoin script language, but well, there are different script languages. So these remotes, they're actually very similar. Anyway, you spend for space-time multiplication. It's like a common storage rent model. You rent some storage for some time, and you spend when you rent some storage, you pay for gigabyte per month, not just a gigabyte forever. So it's very similar to regular storage rent model, but this leads to interesting changes in a blockchain. First, we can estimate state size, and actually state size become to have an upper bound. Well, I should mention here that the block size is limited. Anyway, block size is limited, and the transaction can't increase state size more than for the block size. So even if you create a lot of outputs in one block, or an output with a very big size, like block size, in Bitcoin, like you can create only output with of 1 megabyte. You can create bigger output. And when the adversary tries to increase states during some DDoS attacks, he should pay for all previously created outputs. So he creates an output, he increases state for 1 megabyte. The next block he's trying to increase state for 1 more megabyte, but now he should pay for 2 his outputs. At the third block he's again increase the block size for 1 megabyte, but now he should pay for 3 outputs and so on. So this leads that the resulting state size will be a square root of 2 multiplied by block size and multiplied by number of coins consumed by the attack and divided by price constant. So important here that is square root, and it's quite limited, and it's impossible to create too big state with a lot of coins. Additional changes for blockchains that it provides another way for mining to be rewarded by dust collection. So they can collect these old outputs, outputs that no one used for a long time. As was mentioned is in Walk 4 on instability of Bitcoin without the block reward. Mining reward is very important because without it, mining become instability. Actually, we can't prove that if miners will be rational, we'll have a one blockchain. This fee, space-time fee, provide another way for miners to be rewarded, and it's actually almost the same as a block reward, but it will be available after inflation when no new coins are created. So releasing output provides fixed per block reward forever. It's quite easy to estimate it in prepaid and schedule payment model. It's just multiplication of state size to price constant, so every block miners will get this reward. In prepaid model, it may be a bit higher because more coins may be released when miners collect these dust outputs. And additional improvement of a blockchain is that this fee model provides a lost coin recirculation. So now we know number of coins in like Bitcoin. We think that today we have like 16 millions of Bitcoins, but actual supply is unknown because of lost keys. And actually we don't even know whether the number of coins in Bitcoin increases or decreases, because maybe people lose their keys faster than new coins are issued. So this space-time fee provides a way to return this lost coin into circulation. It's quite easy to estimate its rate. So at least number of coins in circulation won't decrease even after complete of coin issue. So it's possible to issue all coins quite fast and their number won't decrease. We made some estimations based on Bitcoin stats. It's quite tricky and it's based on some assumptions for sure, but we found that price constant like 10 to the power of -9 Bitcoin per byte block is quite good. It won't be very high price for regular users, so active users won't feel this price. They pay more fees now, but if you keep your coins for a long time, you'll pay this fee. It will provide for postpaid and scheduled payments. It will provide miners additional rewards like 36,000 bitcoins every block, and it's the same as coin recirculation here. In prepaid model, this reward will be like 20 times higher, but it depends of lifetime that user choose for their coins. We can't predict it, but this is for 10 years lifetime. It's quite a rational parameter from our point of view. And state upper bound is like 143 gigabytes. It's very big, but it's a state where all the supply of the coins, all the bitcoins will be consumed by the attack. It's a very, very high upper bound, and actual state size will be for sure much lower. Thanks for your attention. Here are my contracts. Thank you.